Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. Coming up on this program, Ice Age fossils are preserved at the Tule Springs National Monument right in Ward 6, and many are getting outdoors to enjoy our beautiful weather by cleaning up our parks. We love that.
Yes.
Of course, the councilwoman who represents Ward 6 is Michelle Fiore. She joins me now. How are you?
I'm great.
Welcome back.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. You know, my mom just asked me last night. She says, you know, I have Channel 2 on every day, honey, and you and David haven't done a show. And I said, no, we're gonna record one now, Mom.
Every 6 weeks,
every
she's paying
6
attention.
weeks.
Thank you for watching, Mom.
Yes,
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, every 6 weeks you're back.
Yes.
So and you and the other council members all rotate, and we have a lot to talk about in Ward 6.
We do.
It's never a dull moment. This time of year, springtime is busy. You know, the weather's nice. People are getting out because there's the holidays, lots happening. Maybe not as many events we have because people are celebrating the holidays. Summer, it's really hot. This time of year and in the falls when a lot goes on, right?
It's you know, because we plan it all, we make it happen.
Exactly.
We gather people, the weather's getting nicer. It's just going to be great.
So you know Ward 6 very well. It's the area you represent. For those of you out there who aren't exactly sure where Ward 6 is located, well, don't worry, we're going to show you. It's out there at the top of the valley. If you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you are a resident out there, you are represented on the Las Vegas City Council by Michelle Fiore. And Councilwoman, we should probably mention to everybody that one thing we do every 10 years or so is the redistricting. We probably should touch on that a little bit. We just had the census this past year, and so it'll be time to redraw those lines, because the idea is that all the wards are supposed to have roughly the same number of people. And your area is growing so fast that you're getting more people than some of the other wards that aren't growing as fast. So it's to kind of right that ship a little bit.
So right now, as we looked at all the numbers, my Ward 6, is the largest ward.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, is the largest ward in the city. And the ward that will put us over a population growth of 700,000 just for the city. Yeah. You know, of course, in all of Las Vegas and Clark County, it's 2-point-something million.
Yeah.
So we are, and it's funny because telepathically, when you were just showing that, I said, I got to mention we're redistricting right now.
See, you and I have been doing this for a while together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just met with Mr. Fred Kessler, who will be
former judge.
Former judge, and he also spent 24 years at the legislature in Wyoming. He is
exactly. I think it was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Yes, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 24 years at that legislature. And also, when I met him, because I met him for the first time, I mean, he's a firecracker.
Yeah.
He is a firecracker. He's got, I got to just give him a shout out. He's got some Frank Sinatra blue eyes going on. That guy has gorgeous blue eyes.
You know, he's also done our redistricting over the past. He's worked with us on redistricting over past census periods. So he knows the city, knows the boundaries, kind of where the growth is headed. But Ward 6 always tips things because your ward grows so much faster than any of the wards, even those out in the Northwest too, 4 and 2. You're still growing faster than those two.
Without a doubt. And then Brad Jerbick, when Brad Jerbick was our attorney for the city, Brad told me that Fred has been redistricting since before him. So I think this is his 5th census. So we're looking at 50 years.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
So Brad Jerbick had mentioned that. So it was amazing.
So he knows our city, and he always does a good job. And the council's always very pleased. Population's always very pleased because we end up getting those numbers really close. I remember this was a few years back, but each ward had about 110,000 people in it. It's much more than that now.
Yeah, we're close to 140.
Wow, see, that's incredible. See, we've been growing. We're the fastest growing cities in the United States. Here we are. So,
and we're the best city in the United States.
The best city in the United States. No argument there. Yeah. So, well, Councilwoman, as we said, you had a lot going on, and your ward is it's really great because you've got kind of the city feel out there, but also a very rural feel. And one of the things you posted on Facebook, I love this. You said, enjoy this view from the Tule Springs Fossil Beds National Monument Park. This is right in your ward, or right near your ward, and the thing that's incredible about it is that Ice Age fossils are out there to be preserved, seen, viewed. It's incredible.
And I have to tell you, when I first took the tour, I did not realize, and when I tell you I did not realize, because some of the dirt out there is like a very light clay, like a white clay, and the fossil bones are the same color.
It's hard to see, yeah.
So we would walk past a fossil bone, and then my guide would say, okay, stop, and he'd say, okay, turn around, and he would go, let's walk right over there, and literally show me a bone. Now the bone was not, it was sticking out of the clay. It was not, and they have to, you know, bring their whole team in and do it right. But he said the problem is people don't realize this is there, and they climb on it, step on it, break it, and they don't even know that it's they don't even know. They think it's some kind of rock or shell or.
Yeah, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really amazing the things that you learn when you actually go and put your hands on them.
And the idea with the monument out there, the National Monument, is to protect that area. So, you know, people used to like to go out there and shoot and off-road and things like that, and those are great activities, but you don't want to do it on basically what's a scientific site.
You know, I'm so glad you said that, because we have now, you know, as a person that fires, you know, that shoots guns quite often, and does a lot of outdoor activity. One of the things that while we were touring that I found very, very disturbing is, you know, from the activities, people were not cleaning up their messes. Or, you know, they would, and this is going on for years. I mean, we had to get some tractors out there and some dumpsters and a lot of volunteer help from our local 872 union. But they were throwing refrigerators out there.
Yeah,
they were blowing up cars out there. Then they were shooting out there and not cleaning up their plastic pollution. Like, you know, a lot of people save milk jugs and water bottles and fill them up and go and shoot them, which is absolutely fine. But then
you got to take it with you when you're done. Yeah,
pick
you
them
can't
up.
leave it out there.
Yeah, don't leave them out there. And you know, it's things like that that really disturb me, because this is our planet.
Yeah.
We inhabit this planet. Take care of it. Whether you're outside or inside, I'm sure you wouldn't just break a plastic water bottle in your home and leave it on the floor.
No, of course
right?
not. Of course not.
Yeah. So I want people to really feel in their heart that the outdoors is their home. This is their planet. You need to take care of it.
Exactly. And you know, Councilwoman, I think you and I have talked about this before in this show. That area out there has the potential to be a tourism draw. If people are interested in that kind of paleontology, that kind of history. I mean, you're going to see fossils from prehistoric creatures.
Yes.
Pretty exciting. People are going to come out to see that, and maybe not in droves like they do to the Las Vegas Strip, but certainly they're going to have an audience for this. We want to make sure that the experience is one that is rewarding and preserves these things. So,
yeah, without a doubt.
Exactly. Well, it's exciting, and that's right out in Ward 6. It's just amazing. It's just right up the road from where we are right now. So incredible stuff. Councilman, we want to mention this. We always do this. New traffic signal. Now, I know, folks, this isn't the most earth-shattering news in the world, but there's a new traffic signal at Farm Road and Oso Blanca. And we like to mention this because if you haven't been out there in a little while, just know there's a light there. So please don't go blowing through the intersection anymore,
happens.
Right? And it does happen. Every time we set up a new signal, people who maybe, like I say, haven't frequented that area are all of a sudden surprised. It's like, oh, I've got to stop here.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, we got to stop for the red lights.
Exactly. It's kind of a standard thing. But this was installed back on March 16th, so it's been there for a little while now. But everybody just be safe and see there's pedestrians using the signal correctly, and just be safe as you go through there, because the area is growing, and with that comes change, and traffic signals are some of that change that come with it. So be safe. Be safe.
That's true.
All right, so that is Farm Road and Oso Blanca. And then, Councilwoman, since you were on the show last, we celebrated Valentine's Day.
Yes.
You never miss a beat on holidays. You posted this on Facebook. You said, Happy Valentine's Day weekend, Councilwoman Fiore style. And so you're getting a kiss from a pooch
Puppy,
right there.
yeah.
That's very nice.
Well, I love dogs. And so we usually, for Valentine's Day, we usually do an ice cream senior social,
right.
and we dance, and we eat ice cream, and we have all the toppings and all the flavors. Well, we couldn't do that
then
this
came
time.
COVID, right? So, yeah.
So we still did our senior social, but we had cookies and chip clips and
people drove through, I see.
And people drove through.
You got the drive-through thing down really well out in your ward,
we did. And we have to, because we don't want to miss a beat. And, And especially with our seniors that go to that senior center, we really need to get that opened, and we're going to shortly. I really feel it's like schools, right? Our kids need to go to school. Our seniors need a place to go. You and I work every day.
Yeah,
right?
we have
we
have a schedule we got to adhere to.
Schedule.
Right.
So I just really want our folks that are in the at-risk category, which are our children and our seniors, to be able to get back to just their activities of daily living, right?
You know, and Councilman, that brings up a really good point. The governor announced back on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, that everyone in Nevada 16 and older on April 5th would be eligible to be vaccinated. So we want to remind people, maybe we can everybody gets out and gets their vaccine, and let's get this over with so that we can get back to doing what you're talking about, having our seniors get back to their ice cream socials and gathering again safely, to where we don't have to worry about those things anymore.
Yep, and so I think people don't realize, like, it's now, like April 5th, you can go get your shot, no matter what, just go get you. There's no more categories.
Exactly.
Categories are lifted.
And then March 22nd, those 16 and older with underlying conditions were eligible. So again, if you are someone who maybe has an illness that would qualify, the list is extensive. You can check it out on the Southern Nevada Health District website. Go and look at that, and you could be ahead of everyone else too, to get your shots. So.
And then our director, Carolyn, was telling me that they have a waiting list.
Yes.
So get on a waiting list, because what she said to me is some folks don't show up for their appointment, and she gave me a great example. She said Monday we had 296 people on the waiting list, and by Wednesday afternoon they only had 96 on the waiting list, because when people aren't showing up, they call people, hey, can you get here in the next hour? And they do, and it's just...
And that's exactly it. Councilwoman's hitting it on the head. The standby list is, as we've seen, people don't come for their appointments for whatever reason. They don't come for their second shot sometimes. So what happens is that vaccine is ready. The Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine comes in a sub-zero state. It's shipped that way. But once it's thawed out, it has to be used.
Thrown out.
Yeah, within 6 hours, it has to be thrown away. So rather than throw it away, there's a standby list.
Right.
And now the only thing with it is that they call you and say, can you be here in an hour or in 30 minutes, you know, because we've got vaccine.
And I have to tell you, she said everyone shows up when they're on the waiting list. And here's another great thing about the city of Las Vegas. I can only talk about our city of Las Vegas, but we literally have less than 1% waste.
Yeah.
Less than 1% waste.
Well, Carolyn Levering, as you mentioned, our
yes.
emergency manager, she has been fastidious about making sure we don't waste anything. You know, she would tell you maybe even a little chronic about not wasting it, but we've been very successful because we want every. You know, one thing they've done too is they've managed to get extras out of the vials, because they really work to get every drop out of the vial, and that's extended the number of people they can vaccinate each day as well. So they've taken this very seriously. And if you're interested in getting vaccinated, best place to go, the simplest thing is to go to the Health District website. It's SNHD, Southern Nevada Health District.org, SNHD.org, and get on there and look at making an appointment. So
I'm going to say what David just said, and I say this like a third time because it's .org, O-R-G, because a lot of people just go to .com, and it's very, very different.
Where is this?
Right. They can't find it. So it is .org, and that's it's just a big difference.
Right. We're so used to that. But .com is for companies.
Yes.
.org is for nonprofit organizations, and governments are .gov like we are.
Yes.
Right? So,
yes.
All right. There you go. Your little lesson on all that. But, Councilwoman, we had Valentine's Day. Of course, everybody knows that on the 14th of February. What month are we in? But we also had something, it threw me a little bit. National Drink Wine Day is also in February 18th. I didn't know that existed. Yeah,
so I have to tell you, there's so many little quirky national days. And I'm an Italian woman, and I love my wine. And so, of course, we have to drink wine, right? And we give wine away for Christmas.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So we always, we give wine away for Christmas. And a couple of people said, well, what if you give someone a bottle of wine and they don't drink wine? And I said, well, it's a great regift.
Sure.
It's a great regift. Sure. Like, give it to someone else.
You're not encouraging anybody to do anything they wouldn't feel comfortable doing.
No,
of course not. So, but Yeah, exactly. Somebody else might enjoy
Or
it.
cook with it, because then the alcohol leaves it and it just flavors it.
True, true. So National Wine Day, everyone, Drink Wine Day is February 18th for those that are going to write that down and observe it in the future. And then speaking of observances, March, National Women's History Month. You've been honoring a famous or a significant woman in history every day in March, right?
Yes, I have. And I love that. And there's only 31 days, so I only get to choose 31 folks.
Tough, yeah, a lot of good
It's
candidates.
very tough. There's so many candidates. And I have to tell you, I really appreciated the International Women's Day, because I recognized a princess from Saudi, Princess Rima, who is the first female ambassador from Saudi that worked in D.C., that works in D.C., lives in D.C. at the Saudi ambassador house. And it was really encouraging, because her big thing is equality for all, you know, around the globe. And she's worked on that diligently, and it's really shown. And then I also recognized Fatima Al-Hira. This is a girl who her father died and left his wealth to two sisters. And the one sister, Fatima, started the first university that's still standing today. She took her portion of the money, and this is in 895, okay?
Wow.
895 Common Era. And a lot of people think Bologna out of Italy was the first university.
No,
but
I'm getting
Bologna,
history. I did not know this.
Bologna is
And what was the
1088.
year? 895?
So Bologna is
Wow.
1088, and then Oxford came after Bologna,
Yeah.
which was 1096. So when we look at international
you know your stuff
women,
on this. That's impressive.
yeah, well, I love Italy. So, but when you look at and understand that this university that began in Morocco is still giving, it was the first to give out degrees and everything like that.
Started by a woman.
And you look at this, started by a woman. And then a lot of people don't realize, even Cleopatra on that day, Cleopatra 44 BC, right? BC, spoke several languages, you know, encompassed trade with other countries around her. This is 44 BC, you know, and her biggest love was for knowledge. Like, she just wanted to really soak up the knowledge of the world. Beautiful. I mean, you know, people go, oh, Cleopatra, she's just a beautiful queen. No, she's not just a pretty face.
She was
She
pretty
was
smart.
brilliant with a pretty face, which is a deadly, deadly combination. Yeah, so, and with Women's History Month, I have to tell you, thus so far, my favorite woman that I have recognized is our own Madam Mayor, Carolyn Goodman. When you look at what she's done, and her raising, and this month in March, the 25th, is her birthday.
Exactly.
Right? So it's her birthday. We've got Mayor's Month coming up in April, the first week in April, Mayor's Day. And so recognizing her and her accomplishments on all that she's done. I mean, when you think about it, she started and built and ran the Meadows School for 26 years without ever taking a salary.
I know, it was
without
all done.
ever
It was a labor of love, literally.
Yeah, total labor of love, you know. And you look at her and you look at Oscar, and I mean, they couldn't be more opposite. And one of the things the mayor says to me, because I love her, she's articulate, classy. You know, and Oscar, she always says to me, you, meaning you, I know you. You're just like Oscar. I love you. You're Oscar, right? So I'm her Oscar here at City Hall, but I adore him.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, no,
so
I adore him. I love him, and I love her. So it was my honor to honor her during this Women's History Month.
That's pretty exciting, Councilman. That was good stuff. Those were some real good ones. I think you also mentioned there was a woman who, in an exhibition baseball game, a pitcher.
Jackie Mitchell.
Yeah, Jackie Mitchell. She struck out who?
She struck out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Now, in the same game in 1931.
Wow.
Let's not forget that. So she was 17 years old. Jackie Mitchell, 17 years old, signed a first professional baseball contract. 17 years old. Now, you know Lou Gehrig, I think he was 6-something. They called him the Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know Babe Ruth. You know these folks.
The Sultan of SWAT.
Yeah, okay. Same game, 17-year-old girl, just a girl, struck him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And no one talks about Jackie Mitchell. So I'm encouraging ESPN and sports thing, you know, guys, start talking about the girls because we kicked your little booties.
That was impressive. That was a good history lesson.
Yeah.
So, folks, Women's History Month. This, if you want to learn more, this is the place to go. Councilwoman Fiore's got it going on. So, Councilwoman, you have some events coming up that we want to tell everybody about. One that took place back earlier part of March was your shredding event out at Centennial Hills YMCA. These are amazing, folks. You're going to see the line just grows. These stretch around the building because people, I think, understand the issues with identity theft. And so we get huge turnouts at these things. And people get rid of their old documents, drugs, old pills and stuff you don't want to flush down the toilet or anything like that. They're incinerated safely. But there you can see what was going on. And you're going to get a picture. See, look at all the cars that are lined up to take part. So.
You know, and people don't realize that this is what we do. We had a strange fella, come through, and he just had a little stack of paper like this, and he says to Chance, okay, so you're going to shred this? And Chance says, yes. And he says, well, when are you going to shred it? And Chance says, right now. And he goes, you're just going to take my paper and shred it. Like it was the first time. I mean, first time for everything, right? So yeah, so it was very interesting. And you mentioned something very important. You mentioned the pill disposal.
Yeah.
And I say that because once upon a time, I volunteered with the trauma intervention program for 5 years. And back in the day, we used to, here in Vegas, we used to take those pills. Me in the corner would count them, make sure, you know, the deceased, whether it was an overdose, an accidental overdose, and we would kind of check everything out. Well, we used to flush them down the toilet. Well, guess what we found out from our water treatment plants?
That's where all that stuff was going.
So it's really, unfortunately, all of those drugs that we're flushing down the toilet is coming back in our tap water.
Yeah, exactly
because they can't filter it through. It's just like clothes. A lot of people don't realize what we wear and how the effects of our clothing have on the planet. But the drugs are worse. So please dispose of your pills, especially, you know, people. Your loved ones, a friend, let's say they pass, and there's an array of medications. Number one, don't just throw them in the garbage. God forbid someone goes garbage picking and gets these crazy drugs. But there are, and our police substations generally have a pill drop-off.
Drop-off place, exactly. And they incinerate it safely.
Yes, and it doesn't go in our water.
Right.
Doesn't go in our water, and it's really important for people to understand what you do comes back to you.
Yeah, and truly, our wastewater here in Las Vegas goes into the wastewater treatment plants. It goes back out to Lake Mead, and of course, that is where we get our drinking water from, too.
That's
so
where
it's just
we get
a big circle.
When you wash one cycle of clothing, there's about 700,000 microfibers that go through that cycle, right? Out of 700,000 microfibers that go through the first one wash cycle, 40%, it goes through the water treatment center, don't forget. 40% of that ends up in our rivers and oceans and affects all of our marine life.
Wow.
So people have to realize
be
that,
careful.
You know, even like from the clothes you buy, like what are they made of?
Yeah. Good information. She's just like a wealth of knowledge today, so it's good stuff. Councilwoman, again, some upcoming events we want to tell everybody about before we run out of time, but your Ward 6 Easter celebration hop. Well, is it a hop through this year? It's the Eggstravaganza.
Yes.
April 3rd. This is a tradition out in Ward 6. This is the Saturday before Easter. And is it different this year because of COVID?
Yeah, so it's a little different, but thank goodness because we're lifting up the restrictions and we're outdoors and the park is outdoors. Our Easter Bunny is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Everything still has to be individually wrapped. So we are giving out our Easter eggs and baskets and all this great stuff to the kids on Saturday, April 3rd at Floyd Lamb.
10 to 2.
Yeah, 10 to 2.
All right, and happy Extravaganza to everybody that comes out that day. So we're still, managing to have events, just doing it a little different than in the past. And we had an event on March 20th with Get Outdoors Nevada, great organization, a cleanup out at Floyd Lamb Park.
Yes.
This was a nice event. Love volunteers where they roll up their sleeves and they help pick up all the things that our crews do a wonderful job. They do a beautiful job keeping the parks up. But you can't get to every cigarette butt and every little piece of paper and this and that gets left behind. And so the volunteers go through and pick up what was referred to as micro trash,
Yes.
all the things that otherwise would just get stuck in a bush and maybe left there, you know.
It's true. And you know, David, I encourage everyone that's listening and watching, I encourage you to actually just pick some friends or pick a group that you're with, your card game group, your bridge group. Just pick some friends and go out and do a trash pickup day yourself, just as like let's help the community. And if it's in like Floyd Lamb or something, just let our office know and we'll give you a pass to go out there and just clean it up with all your folks. I mean,
Exactly.
we really encourage community outreach and input, and it's fabulous.
And we love volunteers.
Yeah,
We really do.
we
They're a
do.
huge help. So, you know, and we have different, you know, scout troops that are looking for projects, or service organizations looking for projects. Hey, we're going to tell you before the end of the show how to get in touch with Councilwoman's office, and if you're inclined to do any of those things, we will help you get connected with some of our efforts. And if you're so inclined as well, April 24th, another cleanup scheduled with Get Outdoors Nevada on, this will be at Centennial Hills Park, Saturday, April 26th from 9 to 11. Folks, it's only a couple of hours. We're not talking about spending the entire day. Just we get all the volunteers, kind of sweep through, make a concerted effort during those 2 hours to get everything cleaned up, and you'll be amazed at the outcome, all the trash and things that get picked up. We bag it all up and take a photo of what's picked.
Yeah, and people don't realize.
It's like this was one day.
Yeah, they don't realize it.
Yeah.
They don't realize it, but it's really cool.
So April 24th, everybody, love to have you come out there and help out. Love it. So, Councilwoman, we're just about out of time. This half hour always goes by very quickly. So we want to tell you, hey, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Fiore, you can always find her on Facebook and Twitter. She's very active. You can also contact her just by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or you can send her an email. Her address is mfiore@lasvegasnevada.gov. And she or Chance or Jeff or Chrisanne will get back to you and help you out.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Or you do too.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Very often as well.
Very often.
Very responsive.
Yes. Well, that's most important. I have to tell you, you know, we get calls from A to Z. Good, bad, nice, not so nice. And every single one of them get answered. Even the not so nice ones. We just exude love and say, thank you so much for reaching out. You know, here's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, good stuff. So keep up the good work on all of that.
Thank you.
And fortunately, we're out of time, so we'll see you back here in 6 weeks. Tell your mom 6 weeks. We're back in 6 weeks. But in the meantime, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Our next Access City Council show begins airing on April 1st with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knutson. You can catch all of our KCLV shows now on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around. Stay safe out there.